Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Kaminski, and I have the distinct honor and privilege of presenting this new fellow TED Talk this afternoon. The title of my talk is A 36-Year Journey as an Athletic Training Clinician and Researcher. Just a quick shout out to a person who inspired me quite a bit, and that's Dr. David Perrin, past president of the National Academy of Kinesiology. And in 1992, he was actually the impetus behind me pursuing my PhD at the University of Virginia. And one of my first research projects there was actually trying to figure out how to put a round peg into a square hole. And you can see the title of our paper here, involving the reliability of the KinCom ice kinetic dynamometer. But this led to really a lifelong journey utilizing the KinCom as a device to measure strength in those with ankle instability. So on that journey, again, about 25 years worth of research involving ankle instability strength. And, a shout out certainly to my colleagues, Dr. Brent Arnold and fellow NAK fellow, Jay Hurdle. And, so through the years, I've researched this topic. It's just not an ankle sprain. Most people say, oh, they just get better, but the majority of them probably do get better. But there's a large percentage of the population that actually continues on and has ankle instability. So these are some of our highly cited peer-reviewed manuscripts through the years. And you can see the recurring theme here is pretty much all on ankle strength, mechanical laxity. And then in 2002, Jay Hurdle and myself had the distinct privilege of serving as editors of a special issue in the Journal of Athletic Training devoted specifically to ankle instability. And so this was one of the this was the opening editorial for that particular issue. And at that time, no one really had exposed the ankle instability issue to that great extent. And so we did that. That was part of our the special issue. And so one of the papers that I contributed to that special issue was looking at the strength perspective of chronic ankle instability. And so that was a paper I co-authored with my colleague, Heather Hartzell, from IUPUI in Indianapolis. And at that meeting, actually in 2004, then on the heels of that special issue that came out in 2002, we here at the University of Delaware actually hosted the second International Ankle Symposium in October of 2004. And that was the start of the International Ankle Consortium, which my colleague Jay Hurdle and myself had the distinct honor of serving as co-founders of that organization. And this was the agenda that we set forth for that first inaugural meeting of the IAC. And I'm proud to say that the meeting has gone on now. Its 8th iteration was the meeting we had in October of 2019 in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. But the International Ankle Consortium was founded as a nonprofit organization which provides forum for exchange of new scientific and clinical insights into the prevention, assessment, and treatment of ankle pathologies from a multidisciplinary perspective. And I'm proud of the fact that we were able to start this. It's really a terrific group of colleagues and international scholars from across the globe of different cultures and perspectives. And I'm really proud, and Jay and I are both proud of really where this has led. Again, as I mentioned, the 8th International was the last one that was held in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And I had the fortunate honor of actually writing the foreword to the participant manual. And then I also gave a presentation on 20 years of the International Ankle Symposium and the International Ankle Consortium. And, you know, the consortium has really profited and moved forward. We have a social media presence on Twitter. And, you know, I've really been pleased with the new leadership and the direction of which it's moving. And one of the important documents, I think, that really ties in all of my work with ankle instability is that the paper that came out in 2019, the consensus statement and recommendations of the International Ankle Consortium, which includes a lot of the work that we did with our ankle instability and a really cool infographic that was part of this publication in the British Journal of Sports Medicine. So to shift or to kind of finish up here, I also had the distinct honor of being the lead author on this position statement from the NATA on the conservative management and prevention of ankle sprains in athletes. And a couple other more recent collaborations. This is a prospective examination that we have continuing here at the University of Delaware with our UD athletes, looking at ankle sprains and ankle instability. And then I also have partnered with a company called Footbeat, where we're looking at some interventions to better treat ankle sprains. And so it's a really cool device that we've pioneered called the Footbeat. Shifting gears, again, I've had the distinct honor over the past 40 years as a researcher and an educator in athletic training to be part of not only the ankle instability, but also my research involving repetitive head impacts, primarily in the sport of soccer. And I just want to share a few things about that as well. Again, I owe a lot of this to you know, a good friend and colleague, Dr. Kevin Guskowitz, who's the chancellor at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and a NAK fellow as well, and a world-renowned researcher in the area of concussion and head injuries. So in terms of this area of research, has been interesting. You know, soccer is worldwide one of the most popular sports there are. And, you know, some of the headlines on the heels of some of the stuff that's been going on with American tackle football has infiltrated into the sport of soccer. And so the concern over repetitive head impacts and concussions in the sport of soccer certainly has gained quite a bit of attention worldwide. This was an early paper by Dr. Matzer and other colleagues in the Scandinavian region of Europe, looking at chronic traumatic brain injury in professional soccer players. And perhaps this was the conclusion that kind of caught everyone's attention, is that you know, some of these professional players had some cognitive deficits. And it's continued with headlines such as these. You know, soccer may be hazardous to your brain and young kids should stop patting the ball. Interestingly, this is a size 5 soccer ball with a youth who probably is 8 or 9. He should not be heading a size 5 soccer ball. They should be playing with a size 4 soccer ball. So again, heading as a skill, is interesting part of the sport of soccer because, you can use your head to advance the ball and in some cases score. And most recently in 2015, the United States Soccer Federation came out with a guideline that to eliminate heading in children who are under the age of 10, but those between the ages of 11 and 13 can begin the process of heading a ball, and they had some restrictions. And so I got together with my colleagues in the United Soccer Coaches, and we developed a video called Get Ahead Safely in Soccer. And it's a free platform on the United Soccer Coaches website that is used to teach heading as a skill, and in a safe and graduated process of teaching the skill. And so we got together, we created a really cool video and program that's available. And when the coaches take it, they get a certificate at the end. And this is just kind of a trailer video that talks a little bit about the course itself. In terms of soccer heading and its incident in concussion, you can see it's heading the ball. The act of heading the ball is really prevalent in creating concussions in the sport of soccer. And so, I've spent the last 30 years or so, monitoring this and writing about it and researching about it. So this is one of our first studies when I was back at the University of Florida. We just looked at impact forces and neck muscle activity in collegiate female soccer players. And then, this was Abby Wambach scoring this terrific goal back in the FIFA and the World Cup. And so, she's created a really interesting case study in that, perhaps over her career, she's through her youth and high school, collegiate and professional career, I estimate that she's probably headed the ball over 10,000 times. And she suffered, 1 or 2 concussions along the way. And so, the big question is, what does her brain look like today? And what will it look like into the future? I had an opportunity to see her just before the pandemic hit in March of 2020. And again, she's doing fine and into retirement. But again, what will the future hold? That's the big question mark. So the elephant in the room, no question, is the subconcussive blows or repeated head impacts. And you can see here by the glass of wine, this is the kind of slosh effect that occurs when you repetitively hit your head. So we've been looking at some more recent information. This was a survey that we conducted with U.S. Soccer on in terms of heading, how much heading occurs during the course of the week, and you can see that none is really a prevalent number here, or very few, 1 to 10. And this is the headers per week in practice. So very few people are doing it. So I guess the take-home message here is that purposeful heading frequency tends to be higher in games than practice. There's limited data. Males probably have a higher number of headers than their female counterparts, and relatively low exposure to heading in youth and interscholastic populations. The great unknown is what happens into the future. So, technically speaking, these are some of the research that we've been doing. We've been looking at accelerometers. More recently, we've actually collaborated with our colleagues at Wake Forest to look at instrumented mouthpieces. So the technology is changing a little bit. So we're excited about this collaboration into the future. And we'll continue to study the influence of head accelerations in soccer. So again, heading is a skill. It's not going away. Sensors are a good tool, and they allow us to really make some comparisons moving forward. So we're really excited, especially about the mouthpiece sensors into the future. And again, decreasing the risk, again, teaching proper technique, keeping strong musculature, keeping the eyes open, avoiding dangerous plays, working with our referees to enforce the rules. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, you know, I've had an opportunity to travel globally and, you know, impart some of this, these experiences here, both in the International Symposium on Concussion in Sport, the World Conference on Science and Soccer over the last decade, and then fortunate opportunity to be involved with my colleague, Dr. Buckley, with the CARE Consortium. So thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to present this to you today. And, you know, it's certainly an honor serving and being a fellow in the National Academy of Kinesiology. Thank you very much.